But this is what would-be autocrats do. It's what they do across the world, is they create their own reality, an alternate reality, and they invite their followers to come along. And like cult members, a lot of them do. A lot of them believe the alternate reality. And that's why Donald Trump still has the 40% or so hardcore support that he does have, because he has gotten people to buy into alternative facts. Now, if we were talking, as I've been saying since March, if we were talking about Robert Mueller, if this was just lying about Robert Mueller, or if this were those sad, pathetic souls that followed Donald Trump's propaganda about the, quote, Russian hoax, ignoring all of Donald Trump's cabinet members and team members, that got thrown in jail for lying about their contacts with Russia, that would be one thing. But now, following the lies of Donald Trump, the alternative realities of Donald Trump, when he thanked President Xi in China for their transparency and their great work on behalf of the United States people, the coronavirus on January 24th, or when he said 2 days before that to CNBC in late January that it's one person coming in from China and it's going to go away. When he told the Michigan crowd a month later, at the end of February, it's 15 people coming in from this country, but it's soon going to be down to 0. We have nothing to worry about. When he told Republican senators in early March, don't worry about it, it's going to be fine, it's going to go away. When he told black leaders in the White House that it was going to disappear magically, that they needed to just relax, it was going to disappear magically. When he started saying it was going to go away in April because the weather was going to get warmer. When he mocked people for wearing masks, when somebody asked him a question on the mask and he told them to take the mask off, and when the person refused to for the safety of themselves and their family, Donald Trump said, oh, you're being politically correct. When he continued to mock masks as somehow being unmanly or for whatever reason. When he said that the virus is going to magically go away and it wasn't going to be with us in the fall and that we should open schools in the spring, last spring. I mean, it just, again, it continues. This alternate reality has now killed 150,000 Americans. Who knows how many lives could have been saved if Donald Trump had taken this as seriously as Joe Biden at the end of January in a USA Today op-ed when Joe Biden said, we're not ready for the pandemic. Let your scientists and let your doctors lead this, Mr. President. Let them speak to us. Tell us how we can save ourselves, how we can protect our families, how we can protect our senior citizens, how we can protect people with underlying conditions. Let your scientists and doctors talk, but the president wouldn't do that. Instead, he went out day in and day out. And by the way, you keep thinking he's going to learn as he gets the death count wrong. And 1,000 die, and then 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, 150,000. You would think he would have learned by now, but he just goes. Now he's telling you, cult followers, it is what it is. It is what it is. Are you going to continue following him? Over 200,000 deaths, 250. How long do you go, Republican senators, until you speak up and start being more worried about the lives of the senior citizens in your district than the loyalty you show to a man who has shown no loyalty to you or your people? That's the question, because he's not getting better, Republican senators. He's still talking about hydroxychloroquine when everybody in his administration has said it doesn't work. Let's move on. It's not doing the job. And doctors out there who are still pushing it for whatever reasons, they're scam artists. Because the FDA has said, don't use it. It's dangerous. for the coronavirus. And you have his, but he's still talking about it. And he's still saying this is going to go away. He's attacked Deborah Birx yesterday for telling the truth about the coronavirus. And yet people are still buying in this alternative reality, despite the fact it's killing their friends, it's killing their loved ones, it's killing family members.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.